Meanwhile, Link was meditating in the Temple of Time when suddenly something awoke him. He stared at the back of his hand and saw his Triforce of Courage glowing. "What's this?" he asked himself. Last time it glowed like this was for... He suddenly had a thought. "Oh no! No, it can't be!" he said. Then another glow from inside the door of time shone madly, and the 3 legendary spiritual stones had magically appeared into the altar hollows. It was a rough shot, but Link had to take it, so he whipped out his ocarina and played the song of time, which caused the large stone door to open. As soon it is finished, Link rushed inside the hidden chamber. Inside, a magical sword lay rest in a pedestal in the center of ancient drawings of the 6 medallions, and all of them were glowing. Link pulled out his light medallion, and it was glowing too! He gently placed it in the tube of yellow light from the large drawing of the medallion on the floor, and it began showing him pictures and images of what he was hoping would never happen! "He's back!" he cried, and that's not all he saw. He also saw a Wolfos in the streets of Tokyo battling against 5 strange girls in colored suits, in which the other 5 medallion drawings corresponded to them. Obviously, since Wolfos was attacking them, he could tell that they were not Ganondorf's followers. Even he wasn't low enough to attack his own kind. Link then gazed at the resting sword. "It's time!" he said. Meanwhile, Ganondorf saw the battle from a magic ball in his castle.
"What is this?"
he asked himself.
Who are these multicolored females and this stranger in a cape who battle Wolfos?
Unfortunately, he was unable to determine who they were. But still, as they posed a threat to dominate his plans, they had to be destroyed, and from the looks of things, victory was assured. Meanwhile, the girls had never fought such a hard beast before. Even the most powerful attacks weren't enough to stop it. Venus and Tuxedo Mask were already hit hard and lay struggling on the ground. Mercury even discovered that this was not a creature from the Negaverse, which meant the Silver Crystal would be powerless to stop it! "Watch out!" cried Jupiter as Wolfos used his Fury Swipes, which hit Mercury pretty hard, and down she went. "Okay, that's it!" cried Jupiter as she concentrated. "Jupiter, I call upon you, mighty power, to bring bolts of lightning and crisp fry this monster!" This lightning struck Wolfos like crazy. It made him steam a little, but that was it. "Not good enough there, sweet stuff," he growled, and he forced himself forward and head-butted Jupiter hard in the chest. Aye! And she was down. "No, Jupiter!" cried Sailor Moon. "All right, now, why don't we try a combo attack?" "Yeah, said Mercury." "That's the smartest thing you said all day," added Mars. Resisting the urge to argue with her for that insult, Sailor Moon threw her tiara disc, Mars powered it up with her firepower, and Mercury gave it more power with her bubbles. The super tiara slammed hard at the Wolfos. No! And a small explosion eroded from his body.
"Yeah! We got him!"
cried Mars, but suddenly a shadow cast down on her from above. "Oh no, you didn't!" growled Wolfos, and he pounced her. And Mercury. Now Sailor Moon was on her own. "No! Times like this, I wish I were just dreaming!" she said shakily as the Wolfos moved closer. "Bob down and one go," he said. "Don't have to worry about that dream. You'll be taking a nice long rest pretty soon with all your other friends. Yup, 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 yup." "Sailor Moon!" cried Tuxedo Mask. She ran over and held him in her arms. "You've got to run while you still can!" She held him close to her in a small embrace. "No! I won't leave you! Nor the others!" she said. "Look, I know it may sound crazy, but I'd rather go than live on without you. All of you! And my life!" The scouts each smiled at her for making such a brave statement. Perhaps she was changing and becoming a braver Sailor Scout. Too bad it wasn't going to last much longer. "So long! This is where we say goodbye," growled Wolfos, and he began charging with his claws shining for the kill. The scouts screamed in fear, ready to embrace the end, but then From out of nowhere, bright flashes of light began slamming the ground by Wolfos, stopping him in his tracks. The scouts looked up and saw that Wolfos had turned a cold shade of blue and couldn't seem to move her an inch. "What's that?" asked Venus. "Where did those lights come from?" added Jupiter. Sailor Mars managed to get up enough to look behind Wolfos. "Look there," she said. "Do you see what I see?" Wolfos managed to roll his eye to peer around him.
What? No, it's impossible. It can't be you,
he cried. But it was. A young man with pointy elf ears, dressed in a green tunic and stocking cap, white tights, brown boots, golden gauntlets, and carrying a sword and shield.
Who is that?
asked Mercury.
We thought you know,
said Moon. The young man held his sword tightly and began doing a fighter pose like the scouts. "Attacking fighters while they are unable to fight back? Have you no shame?" he said. "In the name of Lejora, prepare to feel the wrath of the hero of time." He charged forward, roaring loudly, "Secret Master Sword!" And his blade began glowing with a mystical energy. "Attack!" And he slashed hard at the Wolfos, like a Megazord at a monster. A big flash of energy popped from Wolfos. "Go! Curse you, hero!" he cried, and he vaporized in a swarm of green flames and was gone. Meanwhile, Phantom Ganon's cauldron stopped glowing.
"That's the energy,"
he growled as it disappeared completely.
"This means Wolfos has been defeated. But how is that so? The only creature capable of such a task is..."
He suddenly thought of something.
"No, that cannot be so, but it is. The hero of time is awake."
Meanwhile, the hero sheathed his sword and shield onto his back and approached the weakened sailors, and he pulled out his ocarina. "Fear not! I am not going to hurt you." He then began playing Zelda's lullaby. And like magic, the scouts' injuries were healed, their suits repaired, and their power fully charged. Even Tuxedo Mask was back to normal again.
that was incredible,
he said. Jupiter even jumped about. "It feels as though I wasn't ever attacked." The other scouts agreed with her. Luna and Ertamus came up to them all. "Scouts, are you all right?" asked Luna.
"We received the signal and came to try and help you,"
added Ertamus.
Well, we're okay now,
said Sailor Moon.
Thanks to this guy.
The cats got a good look at this stranger.
"Who are you? And where did you come from?"
asked Ertamus. The young man motioned them to follow him. "If you wish to answer your questions, come with me," he said. "I mean you no danger, but I can tell you the worst is not over." The scouts, the cats, and Tuxedo Mask decided to follow him. Meanwhile, Ganondorf checked the back of his hand, and his Triforce of Power was glowing.
"So it is true,"
he said.
"Link still exists, does he? And now we have found new allies to try and stop me in my quest. But it will not matter much. I now know that Link is alive, which can only mean the two Triforces I could not capture will soon be mine. The entire universe will cower in fear at my fingertips, and not a soul out there will be able to stop me.
Darien actually thought he'd be able to call Serena up and tell her the date was on after all. Motherfucker.
I got plenty of pots to fill the baby.
But still, as they posed a threat to dominate his plans that he had... "Sailor Moon!" cried Tuxedo Mask. She ran over and held her in him. "Scouts, are you all right?" asked Luna. "We received the signal and came to try and help you," added. You know what? Fuck you, Mike, for not bringing that into 2 lines.